By now, I'm sure you've heard about the American woman who was gang raped in India. If you haven't, well, you just did. Last week, it was reported that a woman from California was picked up by 3 men in a truck, driven to a remote location, and raped. This, of course, isn't the first such case of a tourist in India being gang raped. It's not even the first case this year. In March, a woman from Switzerland was gang raped while cycling around India. Now, I want to make it perfectly clear that I'm not victim blaming. The only person or people to blame for a rape are the rapist or rapists. However, why the fuck are people going to India? India is pretty much the rape capital of the world, so common that it has its own Wikipedia page, and the Canadian government includes it in a long list of travel advisories, and their legal system is complete shit. In fact, one of the articles I read had this quote: "In response to the increased sexual assaults, the government passed a law increasing prison terms for rape and providing for the death penalty in cases of rape that result in death or leave the victim in a coma." That part's good. I like the death penalty, not as a deterrent, but just to get rid of shitty human beings. And I believe that the death penalty should be used for so-called lesser crimes, too, like rape, child molestation, or putting out more than one Pink Friday album. But then there's this. It also made voyeurism, stalking, acid attacks, and the trafficking of women punishable under criminal law. Please tell me that I'm not the only person that thinks that sentence is fucked right up. This suggests that voyeurism, stalking, acid attacks, and the trafficking of women were not criminal offenses to begin with. It was legal in India to throw acid at someone and to sell a woman. Who's visiting this place? Why are you going to India? What? To see the Taj Mahal? Here it is. Look. Want to see the inside? Here you go. Want to learn all about it? Check out this new website. It's called fucking Google. Everything you ever wanted to know and then some about the fucking Taj Mahal. I just saved you thousands of dollars in a potential rape. Again, not your fault just because you wanted to visit India for whatever ridiculous reason anyone wants to travel anywhere. India shouldn't have a bunch of rapists running around, but there's no need to go there. You can't disagree with the following statement. Had these women not traveled to India, they wouldn't have been raped in India. It's impossible to argue against that statement. That's not putting the blame on these women, it's just stating a fact. It's very clear that India has a serious problem, and a lot of people feel that the government is to blame. They're not stepping in and doing anything about it, which is pretty fucking clear when they just recently made acid attacks illegal. Now, I'm sorry, I can't get over that. There was a period of time where fucking assholes were tossing acid in a woman's face, blinding and disfiguring them, and no one in the government thought, we don't have a law for this, we should definitely make one. That's the type of thing that should happen once and you get it sorted out. Not something that goes on for years. Acid. Fuck me, Jesus. Anyway, you know what would get the government to actually do something about this shit pretty quickly? If the USA, Canada, the UK, and several other European countries full of people with too much money and the desire to visit the poorest countries of the world put travel bans on India. If they said, hey, India, no one's allowed to travel to your country until something is done about your severe rape problem, they'd be doing something about it. The Indian government would never want to lose out on all that travel and tourism money. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, tourism was responsible for $121 million, or 6.4% of India's gross domestic product, and is responsible for 39.3 million jobs, or 7.9% of all employment in India. Do you have any idea how fucked India would be if North America and Europe said, we're not letting people visit there, it's too fucking dangerous? It's hard to imagine it being more fucked. According to World Bank, over 96% of the country's 1.2 billion people live on less than $5 a day. And again, acid attacks. But it could happen. So ladies, in the meantime, quick travel tip for you. Don't go to India. I would have suggested this before I knew anything about the rapes happening there because I don't travel anyway. Why would someone who lives in a nice, privileged area where we have access to everything we could ever want fly to a country that doesn't have the same things and has higher crime rates, major air and water pollution issues, lower life expectancy, and fuckers running around chucking acid at women? According to UNICEF, 638 million people, pretty much half the population, just shit out in the open. Why are you going to this place? I'm sure this is all conveniently left out of the brochure, but there is no reason for a person with the means to travel to go to these places. No reason. I'm sorry, India. I'm sure there are many hard-working, well-meaning people in your country. In fact, I bet the majority of that 1.2 billion people are good people. I'm not saying that you're all a bunch of raping, acid-tossing woman sellers, but your people that are bad are fucking terrible. Your government is a piece of shit, and you've got severe environmental and poverty problems, which really isn't your fault because, again, your government is a piece of shit. So the fact remains that this shit is happening, and while it's going on, people from developed countries should not be visiting your country. So I don't want to hear about any more of these things happening. The world's been warned. I will have no sympathy for any more tourists being raped in India, just like I don't care if a tourist gets kidnapped while visiting Colombia. No need to ever be there either. And I sincerely hope that they get their shit sorted out so that women who live in India can be safe. And yes, those of you who have already commented without getting this far in the video, rape can happen anywhere in the world. I know that. You don't have to travel to a shithole to be penetrated against your will. So, men around the world, a quick message for you. Stop fucking raping. If you can't get a woman to agree to have sex with you, just accept that you're a loser and whack off to porn like the rest of us in the civilized world do. Maybe that's the solution to India's problem. The Red Cross or someone just needs to drop a shitload of porn into India so they have some means of getting themselves off that doesn't involve taking a woman by force. Obviously, it's not the solution. They clearly have some serious cultural issues regarding the treatment of women, but I think if you could take anything away from all this, it's that you shouldn't visit countries that are worse than the one you already live in, and you shouldn't commit horrible atrocities that make a country worse than other countries. There. World's problem solved. You can mail me my Nobel Peace Prize. Thanks.